Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to integrate Google Play game services events inside your Flutter application. So let's get started. So I'm on play.google.com/console. You can go to that particular URL. Obviously you will have to pay $10 to $12, whatever is the amount, to Google. Once that is done, just come back on this particular screen like play.google.com/console, and you just have to click create app on this particular screen. Once this is done, you can give your app some name. I will just give it as Flutter. You can give your app whatever your name you feel like. Now, like I said, Google Play game services can only be used for games. Obviously you can use whatever technology you want. Here I'm using Flutter, but it has to be registered as a game. You can't register it as an app. So I will just select game over here, then I will select free. I'll just check this box and I'll just click on create app. Let's just wait for this to complete. Okay, so this is done. Now you will have to go to grow users, go to play game services, go to setup and management, and here you will have to go to configuration. Then here, if you're already using an existing play game services API, then inside your Flutter project you will have to select this. But here I'm created a project from scratch. I'm not using any play game services API, so I will just select this particular thing, and here we will have to create a cloud project. So first what you will have to do is just click on create a new cloud project, click on this particular link called Google Cloud Console. Now here make sure you give it the same name what you have given your app name on Google Play Console. So I will just give it as Flutter. Sorry, I don't want any surprises. That's why I've given it the same name. I'll just click on create, let it create the project for me. So it has created the project. Now I will just select this particular project. Let's just wait for it to finish. So I'll just click on select project. So here you can see it has created the project for me. Again I'll go back to Google Play Console. So we are done with all this step. Just click on done. Now you will have to click on this refresh cloud projects. This might take a little bit of time, like a minute or two, to reflect on your Play Console. Hopefully it should be there. So here you can see it is not showing up for me. I'll just wait for some time and I'll just click on refresh cloud projects again. Okay, so finally it is showing up for me. I'll just select this project and then I'll just click on use. Okay, so then we have to click on this create OAuth consent screen. Again click on this particular link. Now here make sure you are on the same project. The same project which you have created is selected in the drop down. Click on external, click create. Then here again give the app the same name what you have given it earlier. So I'll just give it as Flutter. Then here you will have to select your user support email. Just click on this drop down, it will show up your email ID. Just select that. I'll select that later on because I don't want to reveal my email address. Then just here you can enter, I mean you should enter the same email ID what you have selected over here, but it's not really necessary. So I will enter my different email ID over here, gmail.com, and then you just have to click on save and continue. Okay, then just scroll down, click on save and continue again, and here you should add some test users because we haven't deployed our app to Google Play Store. We won't be doing that inside this project, so it's better you add some testers, and you will have to use same email ID while logging in. Once you deploy your app to Google Play Store, you can use whatever email ID you want. But there are some extra steps which you have to be aware about, like you need to tell Google Cloud Project that you have deployed your app to Google Play Store as well, that all stuff. So I'll just click on add. So here you can see my email ID has been added. So this is my test email ID which I will use for login. I'll click on save and continue again, and here I'll just click on back to dashboard, and here you will have to click on this publish app once you are deploying your APK to Google Play Store. We are not really doing that. So yeah, this is done. Again I'll just go back to my project. So I'll just click on confirmation. Then I will click on create credentials. So for this you will have to scroll up a little and just click on this add credential button. The next thing which you have to do is just open Android Studio, and what we will have to do is we will have to open the Android folder which is there inside our Flutter application inside Android and inside Android Studio. Okay, so the reason I'm opening the Android folder inside Android Studio is because we require the SHA-1 key. I know that you can get the SHA-1 key without opening Android Studio as well with the help of this particular command, but this particular command is very confusing if you are using the debug APK like we are doing in this particular tutorial. The easiest way to do get the SHA-1 certificate is running this particular command for debug APK. If you are creating a release APK, then I would recommend you run this particular command, but here once you create your release APK, you will have to replace this particular path with your release key store. This should be your release alias name, this should be your release store password, this should be your release key password. Again, we are not going into that, so what I'll do, I'll just click on open. I will navigate where my Flutter project is located, and so it is over here, and I'll just open the Android folder. I'll just click on open. Now this will take a little bit of time for Gradle syncing, so let it do its thing. We'll come back to Google Play Console again. Alright, so on Google Play Console, make sure you have selected Android, and here this, and you can enable anti-piracy. Given that we are still testing our app, so I have kept it as off. I have kept everything as default. Then we just have to create this OAuth client ID, so I'll just click on this OAuth client ID, and here you will have to click on this particular link. Okay, once this is done, I will just select application type. I will select Android, and here we will have to write our package name. So for that, you can just go to your Flutter project over here, go to Android app build.gradle, and this is my namespace is my package name. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here. Now for SHA-1, like I told you, I'll just copy this particular command ./gradle w assigning report. So I will just go inside the terminal of my Android Studio. Let's just wait. Yeah, so here make sure this is Android, so it should be saying Android, and I'll just run this command. So it will quickly give me the SHA-1 certificate. Again, this is for debug APK only. So I'll just scroll up, and here you can see debug. So I'll just copy this SHA-1 certificate, SHA-1 key I mean. I'll copy this, I'll come over here, and I'll just paste it over here. Then you also need to verify ownership if you are publishing your app to Google Play Store. We are not really doing that in this tutorial, so I'll just click on create. Now it will give us the client ID. It is pretty much useless, so yeah, you can ignore this. Then again click on create credential, OAuth client ID, select web application, and here just click on create. Now this client ID is important, but we won't be using this in this tutorial, so just copy this client ID. I mean, we will be using this, yeah, don't worry too much. So here this is the client ID, so just copy it, and I will just paste it somewhere so that I can use it later. So the web client ID is important for Android applications. Yeah, this is confusing. Again, we'll come back over here, we'll click on done, and we'll just select. So in case if you're not able to see your client ID, just click on refresh as well. So yeah, I don't have to click on refresh, so I'll just click on save changes. Then we'll have to do the same thing for server as well. So again, I'll just go back, and let's just wait. So here again click on add credential, and now we will have to select server, so game server I mean, and we have already created the client for this, so I'll just click on refresh. So here, because the web client ID which we created is for web server, game server I mean. So I'll just click on save changes again. So this is done as well. Let's go back. Okay, so yeah, we will do this step later on. Now we will just publish our app, so I'll just click on review and publish, and I'll just scroll down. So here there are few things which are pending, so I'll just click on this. So we just need to give some description, so I'll just copy this name on itself, change the description to whatever if you feel like. Game category I'll select as action, and I will just add some game icon as well. So I already have one game icon, so I'll select that, and same for feature graphic as well. I have one. Where did it go? So this one, I'll just select that as well, and I think that should be it, and I'll click on save changes. Now it should allow us to publish. Again, I'll just go back, and I'll click on review and publish, and okay, there is one more step. I think it didn't took my I think we have to wait till it upload. I just pressed save changes. Let's just wait for this to upload for feature graphic. Okay, now I'll click on save changes. I'll go back again. I'll click on review and publish. I'll click on publish. I'll click on publish game project. So okay, so our game has been published. Now all we also make note of this project ID, because we will be using this project ID as well. So I'll just copy this project ID and I'll paste it over here. Now what I'll do is all I need to do is I'll need to create a simple login button, right? There will be one more thing. In case if the user is already logged in, then we will initialize. Now we have to obviously write native Android code with Kotlin. The way I will write code is such that if the user is already logged in inside our application, I will immediately send the user details back to Flutter side. Then you can take whatever action you want, like navigate to a different screen or whatever. But we will also have a login button in case if the user is installing our app for the very first time, so he or she needs to log in. So what I'll do is, firstly I'll just delete this my homepage widget. We don't really need this. We'll create a new one. So I'll just delete this my homepage. I'll remove the title out of this, and now I will write some code. I don't want to bore you guys with all the code. I'll explain it to you, but I'll write some code and then I'll explain it to you. So I'll just keep this in mind. So yeah, I'll just write some code and come back. Alright, so I have written down all the required code which is necessary. So if you see, this is my homepage widget, which is a stateful widget. It takes a method channel called Google Gameplay Services Platform. Now same name we will have to use it on native Android side as well while writing Kotlin code. And here I am inside the init state. I'm invoking a method called check login, because I want to check if the user is already logged in or not. If he is already logged in, we will get the data. Then we don't need to really do anything else. One thing I think which I missed is I'm sending some data back to the user. Now this is string data, unfortunately, but you will have to decode it. So what I'll do is I'll just write async over here and I'll print it to the console, just so that you can believe me that debug print user. Okay, now this would be in JSON format, so you just have to decode it. Same thing over here as well. Now what I'll do is I'll just add a future void, because we can't write async code inside init state. So I'll just say something like check login, and here I will do the same thing over here. And I haven't tested the code yet, sorry about that, but I think it will work. And here again I'll just call it debug print, and then we can call check login over inside the init state. So once if the user is already logged in, this is immediately called. If we get the user, then you can do whatever action you want, like redirect to the next screen or save the user data, however you feel like. But if the user is not logged in, then here I have also created a text button, which on click of the text button we are invoking a method called login, and yeah, we just get the user data back. So that's it. Next, what you will have to do is you will have to go to your Android folder. Inside that, click on this Android manifest.xml, and before this application tag ends, you have to add this metadata value. Now this particular value should be your project name. In case if you have forgot, you can just go to your Google Play console, and this is your project name. So just copy this project name and just paste it over here. Once that is done, you will have to go to this build.gradle file. You will have to add this dependency section, and here you will have to add Google Play Game Services dependency. Then I went to settings.gradle because I wanted to update the Kotlin version as well. So I'm using Kotlin 1.9.20. Then you will have to go to main activity. Firstly, you will have to copy all these imports which I have. So I'll just minimize this. So copy all these imports. So for main activity, this is the main activity inside the Android folder. Okay, and here we are overriding a method called configure Flutter engine. Firstly, we are initializing our SDK as soon as our app is launched, and here we just call this playgames.get play games client. So yeah, we just require this particular variable. Then we create a method channel with the same name what we have defined it inside our min.dot.file. So this name, and it will have two methods. First, the login method, which we call on the login pressed. So here you can see we just do game sign in client dot sign in, add on complete listener. If sign in is successful, then we just do play games dot get player client, pass our main activity to it, dot current player, add complete listener. And if this task is successful, this task variable will have all the user details. So I'm actually sending this entire object back to Flutter side over here. If you want to check what all this contains, you can open your Android Studio, and here is the same code. So you can just do m task dot, and here you can see so dot result dot, yeah. So we'll have to pass m task dot result, not just m task. So what I'll do is I'll do something like this. Okay, so what change you have to make is here you will have to do m task dot result. Okay, and I think same thing we'll have to do for check login as well. So I will just change this. I'll come back to the code in a bit, but basically if you want to check what all these things this player contains, you can check it inside Android Studio because it gives proper IntelliSense. Here you can see icon, image, URL, player ID, current player info, all these things are present. So yeah, you can choose whatever you feel like. Again, coming back to our code, so we are sending that data back to Flutter side. In case of error, I'm sending error back. So you can wrap that in try catch as well if you want to. And here is also the error. And check login, same thing. Game sign in client dot is authenticated, add complete listener. If authentication is successful, then we just do play games dot get player client dot current player dot add on complete listener. And if that is successful, again we send the entire player object back to Flutter side. In case of error, we handle the error case as well. So yeah, that's it for the main activity. I'll again simply scroll through this file. Feel free to pause the video wherever you feel like, in case if you have missed anything, and copy the code. So yeah, that's it. Also, one good practice would be to wrap this around try catch. So in case if there is any error, we at least know it. So I'll just paste this and let IntelliSense do the thing for me. Over here as well, we will have to wrap it around try catch. Okay, I'll just move this inside try catch as well. Okay, and if you want, you can just add this debug print over here as well, or however you feel like handling the error. Now I will just run my application and let me show you guys the output. So I have installed the app, and I have installed it via Android Studio. You don't have to use Android Studio, you can use the Flutter run command as well. The reason I am using Android Studio is because I am more comfortable in Android Studio. Now I'll just open my app, and here you can see that it is quickly logged in. Again, I'll just remove my charging part, and hopefully it should log in. Why didn't log in? Okay, I mean, I know I haven't clicked on the login button yet, but it did maintain the state. So here you can see I'm able to see the state. It also displays one good animation which I don't know why it was missing. So here you can see I'm already logged in. If I click on the, so I'll just clear this logs out. If I click on the login button, again here you can see this is the same log from our Flutter side. This is not from Android Studio side. So here you can see I'm displaying all the player details. I'll just reopen the application because I want to show you guys one animation. So given that the reason why I'm already logged in is because I've made a similar tutorials for native Android as well as for Godot game engine. That's why I'm already logged in. So I'll just close this. I'll just reopen the app because I wanted to show you. I'm mirroring my device, so the output is little laggy as well. I don't know why it is not showing up. So what I'll do is I'll just rerun my application. Maybe it's not I am already logged in. As you can see, I'm able to fetch the user details because when I ran the application for the first time, I'm able to see that. I'll just do this. Hopefully this time I'm able to show you. Like if the user is already logged in, you get a pop-up. Okay, there was some error. Like I don't have a USB for this particular Mac, that's why I have to do Wi-Fi debugging to install my application. So hopefully we should be able to see it. I don't know why. I think it's pretty quick. That's why we are calling this pretty inside the init state. But typically you should able to see this some kind of a login pop-up. Like once you open the app for the very first time, the Google Play Game Services displays a pop-up. If you are doing this for the very first time, you will see a different pop-up saying that login. But yeah, unfortunately I don't know why it is not able to show it to me. It runs fine on native Android as well as here also. I saw it when I ran it for the very first time. Let me do one thing. I'll just uninstall the application and reinstall it again. Also, one more thing is, if suppose a user does not have never used Google Play Game Services, then once he clicks on the login button, Google Play's game services will automatically display a UI telling the user to create his Google Play game account. So we don't have to worry about that as well. So yeah, let's just wait for one final try. Hopefully because I saw it for the very first time when I ran this Flutter application. Again, this is just for your knowledge purpose, this is not really necessary. Okay, so it was visible. It went out pretty quickly. Again, I'm now mirroring my device, and also this app is running in debug mode. That's why this could be the issue. Try running it inside a release mode and it will work for you. But again, I'm not running in release mode because that will again require a different SHA-1, I guess. I don't know how to use the debug SHA-1 for a release APK. But anyways, yeah, it did pop up. It's just that we are displaying a black screen at the start as a splash screen. It does get little bit blurred out, but it did pop up. That's my guarantee. Or if you want, you can just add a delay timer before calling this check login, just for testing purpose. So yeah, that's it for login. All right, so once login has been successfully integrated, we will again have to come back to Google Play console, and here we will have to click on events inside Play Game Services setup and management events. Click on create event. Now you can create however many events you want. I'll just create one event. I'll create two events just for simplicity. One event, just one event, because I only have one button inside my code. But you can create as many events as you feel like. I'll just name it as test1. Change the event type if you feel like. I'll keep everything as default format. Number is fine for me. So if you don't know what events are, these are basically occurs when something important happen in your games. So suppose like a user collected a special type of coin, or user completed the 10th stage of your game. So something like this you can create an event for. I will upload an image icon as well. So I'll just upload this particular image icon. I will keep it as revealed for the start, and I'll just click on save as draft. Okay, then I'll just go back over here and I'll click on review and publish, and I'll click on publish changes. Like I mentioned, you can create multiple events if you want to. Again, I'll just click on events, and I'll just click on this because we require the event ID as well. So I'll come back to this later on. First, let's go into the code again. So if you see inside my main.dart file, I have added few more buttons. So after this particular login button, I have added few more buttons. The first button is called submit event. So here you can see on click of it, we are invoking a method called submit event, and it should have an ID. So I will just copy this event ID and I'll just paste it over here. So this is for submit event. The next one is to load a specific event. So there are two ways you can load a specific event, or you can load all events. So to load a specific event, you can just need to pass this load event ID as well over here, the ID. Now so suppose if you have 10 events and you only want to load 2 events, you don't need to call this method twice. You can also pass array of IDs over here, and you just have to fetch that array on native side, which I will show you shortly. But currently I'm only passing one ID. So yeah, so I'm just fetching this particular event and printing data to the console. Similarly, for invoking all events, I just need to call load all events, and yeah, that's it, load all events. We don't require an ID for it. Now inside main activity, again I'll just scroll up. Just make sure you have all these imports. Just go through this and make sure you have all the imports. Most of the code remains the same, so this I have already shown it to you. So I'll simply scroll through this. and here you can see this is our submit event. So I'm taking the id, and if the id is not equal to null, then I'm just doing play games dot get event client this, and increment id 1. That's it, simple. So here instead of 1, you can pass whatever value you feel like, so it's up to you what you want to pass. Similarly for load events, here you can see I'm getting the id. Now here if you're passing, like I told you, an array or list of ids, then here instead of string you will have to write array or list, whatever it is in Kotlin. And here you can see it is taking an array of id itself. So I have already made that easy for you. You just need to pass the array. Here I'm just telling you, I'm not passing this id to, this is commented out, so I'll just remove it in case if you're confused. But here you can see I'm just passing the id, it is an array of, so if you want you can pass multiple ids as well. And here we are just doing play games dot get event client, load by id is true. Here we are passing our event id, adding a complete listener. If it is successful, then we are getting all the ids. And here you can see that what I'm doing, so here is a list of all the events, right? I'm joining all the events together by a comma separated, and I'm just taking their name. There are multiple things inside events, so if you want to check, you can open Android Studio. You can go over here, and if I just show it to you, if I just do something like this, here you can see I'm looping over it, right? So here you can just print out what all things apart from name, what all things are present. So if I do this, here you can see event id, player, value, description formatted, all these stuffs are present. So use whatever you feel like. Just for simplicity sake, I have joined everything together, and I'm just interested in the event name. But yeah, you can use whatever you feel like. And here in case of exception, I'm logging the exception, but yeah, you can send this error back to Flutter side as well, so it's up to you. Then load all events as well, same thing, play games dot get event client, load true, add a complete listener. If it is successful, then here I'm just looping it, I'm logging it to the console. But like I told you, this also event has the same all properties which I just showed you now. Here also I'm doing the same thing, I'm joining everything, and just getting the id event name, sorry, and just sending it back to Flutter side. In our case there is only one event, so it doesn't really make much difference. And in case of error, I'm handling it like this. So yeah, that's it for the code. Again, I'll simply what I'll do in the meantime is let me quickly run this application on Android Studio, and also I will show you guys the output, like I'll show you the code once more. So in case if you are confused, you can just copy paste all the code which I have just shown it to you. Okay, why is this not showing up? Okay, it is finally shown up. I'll just run this and I'll show you guys this. So this is the main.activity code. I'll simply scroll through this. Feel free to pause the video wherever you feel like and just copy the code. So yeah, that's it, and this is the main.dart file in case if you are still missed it somehow. So yeah, that's it. Now let's have a look at the output. Hopefully it should be pretty quick. Okay, so here is the output. Now I have run the app through Android Studio. You can run it through Flutter run command as well. So I will just click on this submit event button first. So yeah, it has submitted by event. There is no callback as such for this particular thing. Now I will just click on load event, and hopefully inside the console here you can see this is the debug print from our Flutter application, and it is printing the name of our event which we have submitted. Now if I click on load all events as well, it should be able to print it. Let's just wait. Yeah, here you can see it has printed it already. So this is the test1. Like I think I have printed it twice, that's why it is displaying twice. But yeah, hopefully you got the point. It was pretty simple. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.